I need you to understand something before I say a single word about this new storm. Right now, as you are watching this, there are families in Rhode Island who have not had power in 72 hours. There are elderly people in Philadelphia sitting in homes that are 38 degrees inside. There are pipes bursting in Baltimore apartments because the heat has been off since Tuesday night. There are hospitals in Boston running on backup generators. And while all of that is still happening, while 200,000 people are still sitting in the dark, another storm is already moving in. That is not a teaser. That is not a headline. That is what is actually happening in the northeastern United States as I am recording this. February 26, 2026. Day 3 of the aftermath of the most powerful bomb cyclone to strike New England in the modern weather record era. And the atmosphere is not done with these people. The second system, and I want you to hear me clearly on this, is not as large as the bomb cyclone. But it does not need to be, because what it is targeting is a region that is already on its knees. Roads that are still buried, power infrastructure that is already strained to the breaking point, emergency services that are already exhausted, and temperatures that are about to crash 40 degrees in less than 24 hours behind this system. When you drop a second punch on someone who has not stood back up from the first one, you do not need the second punch to be as hard. You just need it to land. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly when this second system hits, exactly which cities are most at risk, and exactly why this particular combination of events is more dangerous than either storm would be on its own. The danger tier list this time has some cities on it that were not even in the top 10 last time. Stay with me. Here is the roadmap for today's forecast. First, we are going to do a full damage assessment from the bomb cyclone. The final official numbers are in, and some of them genuinely shocked me when I pulled them this morning. I want to walk you through exactly what happened, what records fell, and what the current on-the-ground situation looks like right now in the most affected areas. Because the situation on the ground is the context you need to understand why this second storm is so dangerous. Second, we are going to break down the second system in detail, what it is, where it is coming from, what it is carrying, and what the models are showing for timing and totals. And I need to tell you up front, the overnight model run shifted this system's precipitation type in a way that changes the story significantly for the Mid-Atlantic. If you are in DC, Baltimore, Philadelphia, or anywhere in the Virginia and Maryland suburbs, I need you to pay very close attention to that section. Third, we are going to do another full city-by-city breakdown. More than 40 cities. Specific numbers. Because your situation right now depends enormously on where you are starting from and what is coming next, and those two things are not the same for every city. Fourth, I have an updated danger tier list. Some of the cities that were Tier 2 last time have moved to Tier 1. And I want to explain why, because the logic of what makes a community dangerous in Round 2 of a major winter event is completely different from Round 1. And finally, I'm going to close with what the models are showing beyond this second system, because there is something developing in the long-range pattern that I have been watching for 3 days, and it has not gone away. I will show you what it is and what it means for the rest of February and the first week of March. Let us go. Let me start with the final numbers from the bomb cyclone, because you need to understand the baseline before I can explain why what is coming next is so alarming. The official final snowfall total for Worcester, Massachusetts came in at 69.4 inches. That is 5 feet and 9 inches of snow from a single storm. The previous all-time single storm record for Worcester was 34 inches. This storm nearly doubled it. The National Weather Service has formally classified this as the highest single-storm snowfall total ever recorded in the state of Massachusetts since reliable record-keeping began. That is not just a local record. That is a historical marker for the entire region. Boston Logan Airport official total, 58.2 inches, shattering the previous single-storm record of 27.6 inches set in January 2015 by more than 30 inches. More than double. In a single event. Providence, Rhode Island, 44.8 inches. Portland, Maine, 36.2 inches. Hartford, Connecticut, 28.6 inches. Springfield, Massachusetts, 34.1 inches. These are all-time single-storm records for those locations. Albany, New York, 24.3 inches. New York City's Central Park, 19.1 inches, the fourth highest single storm total in New York City's recorded history. That is how far south this event extended its reach. Now let me talk about the power situation, because that is the crisis that is ongoing right now, and the one that the second storm is going to make significantly worse. At the peak of the bomb cyclone, just over 1.1 million customers were without power across the 7-state emergency zone. As of this morning, 72 hours after the storm began, approximately 200,000 customers remain without power. That sounds like progress, and it is. But let me put 200,000 customers in context. At an average of 2.4 people per household, that is roughly 480,000 people. Nearly 500,000 people without electricity right now, in February, with temperatures in many of those locations already sitting in the teens and single digits. The restoration crews are working around the clock. Utility companies have brought in mutual aid crews from as far away as Ohio, Kentucky, and Georgia. But the problem they are facing is not a lack of people or equipment. The problem is access. You cannot drive a bucket truck down a road that has 60 inches of unplowed snow on it. You cannot reach a downed line that is buried under a tree that is buried under 5 feet of snow. The infrastructure repair is being bottlenecked by the same snow that caused the infrastructure failure in the first place. And now a second storm is coming before that bottleneck clears. The road situation. As of right now, the state of Rhode Island has lifted its travel ban but is still strongly discouraging non-essential travel. Less than 40% of secondary roads in the state have been fully cleared. In Massachusetts, the MBTA, the transit system serving Boston and surrounding communities, is operating on a significantly reduced schedule and expects full restoration to take another 4 to 6 days at minimum. Interstate 90 is open but moving slowly due to narrowed lanes. Side streets in Boston proper are in some areas still completely impassable. Connecticut, Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont are all in similar situations. The major interstates are passable. The secondary roads are not. And a very large number of residential streets have not been touched yet because the municipalities simply do not have enough equipment to clear everything at once at this scale. Now here is why all of that matters. When the second storm arrives, and I will give you the exact timing in a moment, it is going to drop precipitation onto roads and surfaces that are already compromised. It is going to add weight to trees that are already stressed from the first event. It is going to interrupt power restoration crews who are going to have to stand down for safety reasons while the second system passes. And it is going to push the recovery timeline for these communities back by days, possibly longer. This is not a situation where the second storm is just an inconvenience. This is a situation where the second storm has the potential to turn a recovery crisis into a humanitarian crisis. And I want to make sure everyone in the impact zone understands that. Let me now break down the second system, what it is, where it came from, and what it is going to do. This is not a bomb cyclone. Let me be very clear about that. This system is a mid-latitude, low-pressure center that has been tracking across the Great Lakes over the past 48 hours, pulling energy from the residual cold air that the bomb cyclone left behind. It is a moderately strong system central pressure around 992 millibars, which in any other week would be a headliner storm. In the context of what just happened, it is the supporting act. But the supporting act can still hurt you. The system is currently centered over western Pennsylvania and moving northeast at about 25 miles per hour. It is going to reach the New England coast by tonight, roughly 10 to 12 hours from now, and it will be exiting east of Cape Cod by tomorrow morning. So the window is relatively short, 12 to 18 hours of active precipitation for most areas. But short does not mean harmless. Here is what the models are showing for precipitation type, and this is where the overnight shift becomes critical. 24 hours ago, the GFS was showing this system as predominantly a snow event for most of the mid-Atlantic. Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., all snow. The European model had a different take. It was showing a warm nose developing at the 850 millibar level about 5,000 feet up that would be just strong enough to flip precipitation to freezing rain across a swath from Washington to Philadelphia. Overnight, the HRRR came into agreement with the European model, and the national blend of models this morning has shifted solidly to the freezing rain solution for the DC to Philadelphia corridor. That is the overnight shift I have been watching. And that shift matters enormously. Here is the scenario we are now forecasting for that corridor. The storm begins as snow early this evening. 3 to 5 inches of snow accumulate in the first 4 to 6 hours. Then, as the warm air rides in aloft, the precipitation transitions to freezing rain. And it freezes on contact because every surface, the pavement, the cars, the trees, the power lines, is already deeply cold from the bomb cyclone. We are looking at a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of additional ice accumulation on top of whatever snow falls first. 1/2 inch of ice on trees that are already stressed from the first storm, on power lines that are already at capacity, on roads that are already difficult to navigate. This is the scenario that utility engineers and emergency managers are most worried about right now, and they are right to be worried. For the core of New England, Boston, Worcester, Providence, Hartford, this system is primarily snow. 6 to 12 inches of additional accumulation on top of what is already there. That sounds almost absurd given what these cities just went through, but that is the forecast. An additional 6 to 12 inches on top of 50 to 70 inches already on the ground. The structural weight concern I raised in the last video, snow load on roofs, is now elevated to a serious warning level. If you are in the Boston metro area or Worcester County and you have any way to safely get snow off your roof, you need to think about doing that before tonight. For Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont, this second system brings an additional 8 to 14 inches of snow, combined with winds gusting to 40 to 50 miles per hour. Not bomb cyclone winds, but strong enough to cause blowing and drifting that will reclose roads that have just been cleared. Think about what that means for the power restoration crews working up there. They finally clear a road to get to a downed line. The second storm drifts it shut again overnight. The crew cannot get back in. The people without power wait another day. That is the compounding disaster cycle we are now in. Let me walk through the model picture one more time, because there are some important nuances in how the different guidance systems are handling this second event. The GFS, the American model, has been the outlier. It has been stubbornly holding on to a snow solution for the entire Mid-Atlantic corridor, resisting the warm nose that the European model identified early. This is not the first time the GFS has struggled with the precipitation-type transition in these setups. The American model has a documented tendency to keep the warm layer too shallow in these coastal low scenarios, which means it underestimates how far north the freezing rain zone pushes. My strong lean is with the European model on this one. If you are in Philadelphia or Baltimore and you are planning your evening based on the GFS showing mostly snow, you need to know that the European model and the HRRR both strongly disagree. The European model has been the star of this entire event sequence. It was first to identify the bomb cyclone potential 10 days out. It was first to identify the secondary system 3 days out. And last night, it was the first model to clearly resolve the precipitation-type transition to freezing rain in the Mid-Atlantic. Its track record this week alone has been exceptional. I am giving it significant weight in my forecast thinking. The HRRR, which runs every single hour and gives us the finest detail on what is happening right now and what will happen in the next 18 hours, is extremely useful for timing. And this morning, the HRRR is showing the leading edge of precipitation reaching the southern tip of New Jersey around 6 p.m. this evening, pushing through Philadelphia between 8 and 10 p.m., reaching Baltimore around 10 p.m. to midnight, and arriving in the D.C. metro area between midnight and 2 a.m. The transition from snow to freezing rain in the HRRR occurs between roughly 11 p.m. for D.C. and 2 a.m. for Philadelphia. The national blend of models is painting a very concerning picture for the zone from the Virginia suburbs of D.C. through Baltimore and up the I-95 corridor to Philadelphia. It is showing a high probability above 70% of at least 0.25 inches of ice accumulation in that zone. And it is showing a non-trivial probability above 40% of 0.4 inches or more in the immediate D.C. metro area. That 40% probability of a major ice event in an area that is already dealing with a post-blizzard power crisis is what has emergency managers extremely concerned tonight. One more model note. The GFS ensemble, the 3-0 run average, is showing something in the extended range that I have been watching carefully and I will come back to at the end of this forecast. Something that suggests this pattern is not going to break quietly. Stay with me. Okay, right here. I need you to stay for the second half of this, because what I'm about to cover is the part that the mainstream coverage is completely missing. Everyone is talking about the snowfall totals. Everyone is talking about the power outages. What almost no one is talking about is what happens to the 200,000 people still without power tonight when the temperature drops 35 degrees behind this second system. I have that breakdown coming up. I have the updated danger tier list, and 3 cities moved from Tier 2 to Tier 1 this morning that were not there yesterday. And I have the long-range picture that nobody wants to say out loud yet, but that the models are clearly showing. Also, I want to answer a question I have been getting in the comments constantly since the last video. People are asking, when do the roads actually fully clear? When does life go back to normal for these communities? I have a realistic answer for you, and it is not the answer you are hoping for. That is coming up. City by city, let us go. I am going to give you 2 numbers for each city this time, what is already on the ground from the bomb cyclone and what the second system adds. Because the combined picture is what matters. Northeastern Core, second round snow totals. Boston, Massachusetts, 58 inches already on the ground. Second system adds 7 to 10 inches. Total storm complex, 65 to 68 inches. Wind gusts tonight to 42 miles per hour. Wind chill by tomorrow morning, negative 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Roof load warning remains in effect. Worcester, Massachusetts, 69 inches already down. Second system adds 9 to 13 inches. Total approaching 82 inches. This is the most snow on the ground in any major U.S. city right now by an extraordinary margin. Wind chill tomorrow morning, negative 36 degrees. Providence, Rhode Island, 45 inches down. Second system adds 7 to 11 inches. Wind gusts tonight to 38 miles per hour. Wind chill tomorrow morning, negative 28 degrees. Power restoration efforts will be interrupted tonight. Springfield, Massachusetts, 34 inches down. Second system adds 8 to 12 inches. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 30 degrees. Hartford, Connecticut, 29 inches down. Second system adds 7 to 10 inches. Transition to a brief period of freezing rain possible near the Connecticut coast. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 22 degrees. New Haven, Connecticut, 26 inches down. Second system, 4 to 7 inches snow plus 0.1 to 0.2 inches ice. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 18 degrees. Bridgeport, Connecticut, 22 inches down. Second system, 3 to 6 inches snow plus 0.1, 5 to 0.2, 5 inches ice. Coastal flooding threat tonight with 4 to 6 foot wave heights. Portland, Maine, 36 inches down. Second system adds 10 to 14 inches. Wind gusts to 48 miles per hour tonight. Wind chill tomorrow morning, negative 40 degrees. This is frostbite in under 3 minutes territory. Bangor, Maine, 28 inches down. Second system adds 9 to 13 inches. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 45 degrees. The most extreme wind chills in the entire event zone. Augusta, Maine, 31 inches down. Second system adds 10 to 14 inches. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 42 degrees. Concord, New Hampshire, 30 inches down. Second system adds 9 to 12 inches. Wind gusts tonight to 52 miles per hour. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 38 degrees. Manchester, New Hampshire, 28 inches down. Second system adds 8 to 11 inches. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 35 degrees. Burlington, Vermont, 22 inches down. Second system adds 8 to 12 inches plus lake effect enhancement of 3 to 6 additional inches south of the city. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 34 degrees. Montpelier, Vermont, 26 inches down. Second system adds 10 to 14 inches. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 36 degrees. Some rural mountain roads in Vermont may not be passable for 5 to 7 days total. Mid-Atlantic, the ice zone. Pay close attention here. Albany, New York, 24 inches down. Second system adds 6 to 9 inches snow. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 26 degrees. New York City, 19 inches down. Second system, 3 to 6 inches snow. Brief period of freezing rain, 0.05 to 0.15 inches. Wind chill tomorrow morning, negative 14 degrees. JFK, LaGuardia, and Newark airports remain significantly disrupted. Long Island 18 inches down, second system 3 to 5 inches snow plus 0.1 to 0.2 inches ice. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 12 degrees. Newark, New Jersey 17 inches down. Second system 2 to 4 inches snow. Ice accumulation 0.15 to 0.25 inches. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 10 degrees. Trenton, New Jersey 14 inches down. Second system 2 to 4 inches snow transitioning to 0.2 to 0.35 inches of freezing rain. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 8 degrees. This is the snow to ice transition line. Atlantic City, New Jersey 11 inches down. Second system, mostly ice. Freezing rain accumulation 0.25 to 0.4 inches. Coastal flooding tonight. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 4 degrees. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 12 inches down. Second system, 3 to 5 inches snow followed by 0.25 to 0.45 inches of freezing rain. Wind gusts tonight to 38 miles per hour. Wind chill tomorrow morning, negative 8 degrees. Power outage risk is high. This is a Tier 1 situation. Allentown, Pennsylvania 15 inches down. Second system, 4 to 7 inches snow plus 0.1, 5 to 0.3 inches ice. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 12 degrees. Scranton, Pennsylvania 18 inches down. Second system, 5 to 8 inches snow. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 16 degrees. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania 9 inches down. Second system, 4 to 6 inches snow, light ice glaze 0.05 to 0.15 inches. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 10 degrees. Baltimore, Maryland 8 inches down. Second system, 2 to 4 inches snow transitioning to 0.3 to 0.5 inches freezing rain. Wind chill tomorrow morning, negative 4 degrees. Widespread power outages expected. This is Tier 1. If you are in Baltimore right now and your power is on, I need you to prepare right now as though it will not be on tomorrow morning. Washington, D.C. 6 inches down. Second system, 1 to 3 inches snow transitioning to 0.35 to 0.55 inches freezing rain. Wind chill tomorrow morning, 0 to negative 5 degrees. The Potomac River Basin is going to be an ice rink. Major power outage risk. Federal government expected to be closed. This is Tier 1. Richmond, Virginia, 4 inches down. Second system, a trace to 1 inch of snow, 0.3 to 0.5 inches of ice. Wind chill tomorrow, 5 degrees. Catastrophic road conditions for a city with minimal winter treatment capacity. Great Lake Zone. Cleveland, Ohio, 11 inches down. Second system, 4 to 7 inches snow plus lake effect enhancement of 5 to 9 inches south of the city. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 18 degrees. Buffalo, New York, 16 inches down from main storm. Second system plus renewed lake effect. 8 to 14 additional inches south of the city. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 22 degrees. The lake effect machine is back on. Syracuse, New York, 19 inches down. Second system plus lake effect, 10 to 16 additional inches. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 24 degrees. Syracuse could be looking at another 1.5 feet before this is over. Detroit, Michigan, 9 inches down. Second system, 4 to 7 inches snow. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 20 degrees. Grand Rapids, Michigan, 12 inches down. Second system plus lake effect, 8 to 13 additional inches. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 22 degrees. Toledo, Ohio, 8 inches down. Second system, 4 to 6 inches snow. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 16 degrees. Columbus, Ohio, 7 inches down. Second system, 3 to 5 inches snow. Wind chill tomorrow, negative 10 degrees. Southern Fringe Ice Belt. Roanoke, Virginia, 5 inches down. Second system, trace to 1 inch snow, 0.25 to 0.45 inches ice. Wind chill tomorrow, 8 degrees. Roads will be dangerous, and the treatment crews are already exhausted from the first event. Charlottesville, Virginia, 3 inches down. Second system, 0.25 to 0.4 inches ice. Wind chill tomorrow, 10 degrees. University of Virginia campus expected to be closed. Charlotte, North Carolina. A trace from the first storm, Second system, 0.1 to 0.2, 5 inches ice. Wind chill tomorrow, 14 degrees. Any ice in Charlotte causes major disruptions. This is Tier 3, elevated. Raleigh, North Carolina trace from first storm. Second system, 0.1 to 0.2 inches ice. Wind chill tomorrow, 18 degrees. Greensboro, North Carolina, 1 inch down. Second system, 0.15 to 0.3 inches ice. Wind chill tomorrow, 14 degrees. Okay, that is your city-by-city picture. Let me now give you the updated danger tier list because 3 cities moved this morning and you need to know which ones and why. The danger tier list has been updated as of this morning's model runs and current on-the-ground situation reports. Here is where things stand. Tier 1, life-threatening. Power out, temperatures dropping to dangerous levels. Ice on every surface, infrastructure under maximum stress. Washington, D.C. has moved to Tier 1. Previously, it was high Tier 2. The reason it moved, the ice accumulation forecast has increased to 0.35 to 0.55 inches. The power outage risk has been elevated based on the current state of the grid, which is already strained. And the Arctic surge behind this second system is going to drop temperatures to 10 to 12 degrees in a city where a significant portion of the residential housing stock was not designed for sustained extreme cold. The combination of ice, power outages, and a sharp temperature crash in a dense urban environment with a large elderly and vulnerable population is exactly the combination that generates preventable fatalities. Washington, D.C. is Tier 1 tonight. Baltimore has also moved to Tier 1 for similar reasons. Ice forecast 0.3 to 0.5 inches. Power grid already stressed from the first event. Temperature dropping to 8 degrees by Friday morning. This is a serious situation. Philadelphia was already borderline Tier 1 and has now been firmly placed there. Ice accumulation 0.25 to 0.45 inches. Temperature dropping to 6 degrees Friday morning. Wind chill -14. On top of 12 inches of snow still on the ground from the first storm. Tier 1. Richmond, Virginia, newly moved to Tier 1. This city has been in almost every forecast I have done this week, and every time the numbers get a little worse, half an inch of ice. Temperatures dropping to 16 degrees. A city with extremely limited winter treatment and response capacity. Tier 1. The original Tier 1 cities from the bomb cyclone Boston, Worcester, Providence remain in Tier 1, but for a different reason than the new entries. Their danger is not from the ice storm. Their danger is from the compounding weight of snow, the extended power outage timeline, the ongoing cold, and the roof collapse risk. Boston has already had multiple reports of partial roof collapses on older residential and commercial structures from the weight of the snow. That risk increases tonight as another 8 to 10 inches is added. Tier 2 high danger. Significant ice or additional snow, infrastructure stress, dangerous travel. Hartford, New Haven, Bridgeport, New York City, Long Island, Newark, Trenton, Albany, Scranton, Allentown, Cleveland, Buffalo, Syracuse. These communities are in serious situations, but have better baseline infrastructure capacity than the Tier 1 cities and face somewhat lower peak ice accumulations. Tier 3 elevated danger. Southern and inland cities not equipped for these conditions, particularly ice. Charlotte, Raleigh, Greensboro, Charlottesville, Roanoke. Quarter-inch ice events shut these cities down completely. Their road treatment capacity was already limited and is now further strained from any treatment applied during the first event. Any ice tonight will make roads completely impassable by morning. I promised you earlier that I would answer the question I keep seeing in the comments. When does life go back to normal for these communities? When are the roads fully clear? When does the power come back on? When can people actually move around again? Here is the honest answer, and I am going to give it to you city by city because it varies significantly. Boston and Worcester, you are looking at 10 to 14 days before secondary roads are fully passable. The total snow depth in those areas is so far beyond anything the removal infrastructure is designed to handle that the math simply does not work for a faster recovery. There are only so many plows, so many dump trucks, so many places to put the snow. Some residential streets in Boston may not be fully cleared for 2 to 3 weeks. Providence and Hartford, similar picture. 8 to 12 days for secondary road full clearance. Power restoration in New England crews are currently estimating full restoration to the remaining 200,000 outages by end-of-day Friday, assuming no major additional outages from the second storm. If the second storm adds significant outages, which is possible in the ice transition zone of southern Connecticut, that estimate slides to the weekend or beyond. Washington, Baltimore, Philadelphia, the ice storm tonight could create a new wave of outages that in some areas takes 3 to 5 days to restore, given how cold it is going to be behind the system and how long ice takes to melt off power lines and tree limbs in these temperatures. I know that is not the answer anyone wants to hear, but it is the accurate one. These communities are in a long recovery, and the second storm is going to extend it further. Plan accordingly. Preparation. Even if you watched my last video and you are already prepared, I want to go through this again because the preparation for a second event during an ongoing crisis is different from the preparation for the first event. The single most important thing right now if you are in the DC, Baltimore, or Philadelphia metro areas is to assume you will lose power tonight. Not might, assume. Charge every device you own right now. Fill your bathtubs, fill containers with water. Move your medications to a safe location. Find your warmest layers, your sleeping bags, your blankets, and put them somewhere accessible. If you lost power during the first storm and just got it back, I need you to hear this especially clearly. Your power was just restored. The ice storm tonight may take it again. Do not assume that because it came back on, it will stay on. The same trees that are now heavily burdened with new freezing rain are the same trees that are going to come down on power lines tonight. Roof load. I said this in the last video, and I am going to say it again with more urgency. If you are in the Boston Metro, Worcester, Providence, or Springfield areas, any area that received 30 or more inches of snow from the first event, you need to assess your roof today. Before tonight, before the second storm adds more weight, if you can see any bowing or deflection in your ceiling or hear unusual creaking sounds, or if you have an older home pre-1980 construction, please contact a structural professional or, at minimum, get the heaviest load off the most vulnerable parts of the structure. Flat roofs and low-slope roofs are at highest risk. Do not wait until you hear cracking to act. For the ice storm zone DC, Baltimore, Philadelphia, Richmond, do not drive tonight. I want to be very direct about that. There is no errand, no trip, no obligation worth the risk of driving on roads that have half an inch of ice on them in the middle of the night in a city that does not have enough treatment trucks to keep up. Stay home. Whatever it is can wait until morning. Carbon monoxide. I have to say this every single time because every winter event kills people from carbon monoxide and not from the weather directly. Generators outside. Never inside a garage even with the door open. Never in a basement. Never near a window or door, outside, period. Also, if you are using a gas oven to heat your home, stop. I know it seems like a reasonable solution when the heat is out. It is not. Gas ovens are not designed for space heating, and they produce carbon monoxide at rates that can be lethal. Use layers, sleeping bags, and go to a warming center if you need to. Warming centers. Every major municipality in the impact zone is operating warming centers. Know where yours is before you need it. Look it up right now, write it down, or save it in your phone. If your home drops below 50 degrees and you do not have a way to heat it, you go to the warming center. That is not an overreaction. That is the right call. And please check on your neighbors, especially elderly neighbors, neighbors with young children, neighbors who live alone. A phone call or a knock on the door takes 30 seconds and could genuinely save a life. Do it tonight before the second system arrives. All right, long range. The part I have been sitting on for 3 days because I wanted to make sure the signal was real before I set it on camera. It is real. The large-scale atmospheric pattern that enabled the bomb cyclone, a strongly negative Arctic oscillation combined with a highly amplified ridge over western North America and a deep trough over the east, has not collapsed. It has wobbled. It has shifted slightly. But the fundamental block that drove this pattern is still in place, and the GFS ensemble mean and the European extended range are both showing it persisting through at least the first 10 days of March. What does that mean practically? It means the background state of the atmosphere continues to favor cold intrusions into the eastern United States and continues to favor storm development along the East Coast. It does not mean a blizzard every week, but it means the pattern that produced this historic event is not being replaced by a mild, warm ridge anytime soon. Specifically, the GFS ensemble mean is showing a third disturbance, a potential third significant winter weather event developing in the 5 to 8 day range. The signal is there, but the placement is uncertain. The ensemble members are spread, meaning individual model runs are showing very different solutions for the track and intensity. Some solutions keep the heaviest impacts offshore. Others bring them directly into the same zones we have been talking about all week. It is too early to write headlines about a third storm, but it is not too early to watch closely, and that is exactly what I am going to be doing. The European extended range through March 6th is showing below normal temperatures for the entire eastern half of the United States. Below normal is not the same as historic cold, but it does mean the snow that is already on the ground is not melting anytime soon. It means the infrastructure stress continues. It means the people who are dealing with this disaster right now do not get the relief of a warm-up to speed the recovery. The cold is staying. I will have a full, dedicated long-range video up in the next 48 hours once I have tomorrow's model runs in hand. The 5 to 8 day window is what I am most focused on. If that third system shapes up the way 2 of the ensemble clusters suggest, we are going to need to have a serious conversation about another major event. Check back. Turn on notifications. I will be here. Before I go, I want to say something that goes beyond the forecast for a second. The people dealing with this right now, the families without power for 3 days, the utility workers out in the dark and the cold trying to restore lines, the emergency responders who have not slept, the snowplow operators who have been running around the clock since Monday, these people are doing something genuinely extraordinary. This event is in the historical record books, and the people responding to it are working at a level that deserves recognition. If you know someone in one of those roles, tell them. For everyone watching you came to this channel because you want real information, not softened, not sensationalized, real. I hope that is what you have gotten today and every time you come here. If this forecast helped you or someone you know make a better decision tonight, that is the only metric I care about. Hit the like button if this was useful. Subscribe if you are not already here, because when the third system starts to develop, I am going to have early coverage before anyone else does, and you want to see it as soon as it posts. Turn on the notification bell. Check the community tab. I post real-time updates there between videos when things are moving fast. Stay safe tonight. If you are in the ice zone, stay home. If you are in the snow zone, stay off the roads. If your neighbor's lights are off, check on them. And I will see you in the next one. This has been your second storm forecast for February 26th, 2026. The blizzard of 2026 is not over. Be ready.